Wait, ChatGPT can do that? Yep. And if you're not using AI in your digital product business, you're working harder than you need to. On Wednesday, March 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern, I'm hosting a free, no-fluff crash course on AI for content creators and digital product sellers. You'll see exactly how ChatGPT can be your full-time assistant for just $20 a month. I'll show you how AI can brainstorm, write, and even sell your digital products so you're not doing all the heavy lifting. And I'm giving you a live real-time demo of ChatGPT in action so you can start using it the same day. Listen, AI isn't replacing you, it's making you more efficient. If you've been overwhelmed by AI or just don't know where to start, this training is your shortcut to making AI work for you. You don't have to do this alone. Your AI assistant is ready to help. Let's put it to work. Save your seat now at empoweredbusinesslab.com/training and join me live on March 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern. I hope to see you there. Now let's jump into the episode.
Welcome to the Empowered Business Podcast, where strategy meets action. I'm Monica Froese, and I'm here to help you create, sell, and scale digital products the smart way, using AI and proven strategies to build a sustainable, profitable business. If you're ready to turn your expertise into digital products that sell and eventually grow into a thriving digital shop, you're in the right place. Each week, I break down real-world tactics, unfiltered insights, and bold business moves. Because building a digital product business should be sustainable, scalable, and designed for long-term success. Let's ditch the fluff, leverage AI to work smarter, and turn your expertise into a thriving digital empire on your terms. Let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of the Empowered Business Podcast. Again, we are going to be talking about my current favorite topic, which is AI. All right, let's be real. AI is everywhere right now. Some people are freaking out, not me, because I don't do the skies falling stuff. Some people are ignoring it, and that better not be you. And then there are the smart ones. That's going to be us. The ones using AI to work less, make more, and get ahead while everyone else plays catch up. If that's you or who you want to be, then listen up because I've got something really big to share. I am speaking at the AI Unleashed for Business Summit on March 25th. My session is actually going to be live. This is the largest AI event in the world, alongside 30 plus experts who are using AI in real businesses. No fluff, no theory, just real strategies that work. And guess what? It's 100% free to attend. In today's episode, I'm going to give you a sneak peek into my session where I'll show you how AI makes repurposing your content ridiculously easy so that you can turn one digital product into multiple revenue streams without starting from scratch. Plus, I'll break down some of the other can't miss sessions happening at the summit. So I want you to go ahead and grab your free ticket now so that you can join me live on March 25th. You can join us at monicafroese.com/unleash, and I'll make sure to add the link for signing up into the show notes. So let's dive into what my session is going to be about. But before I do that, I feel like I have to give you a little bit of a history lesson on what exactly I'm doing in my business right now and what I'm teaching. So in last week's episode, I walked you through a timeline and basically the different eras of my business. Back in 2020, it started with us pivoting to teach people how to create and launch digital products with our course, the Empowered Business Lab. Then we discovered, as we taught students and as we also were creating so many digital products of our own, that having 40 different sales pages and sending people to 40 different places to check out wasn't very efficient. So we moved into the era of us having a digital product e-commerce shop. And in 2023, our shop had been up for a year. We were making a lot of money on it, and a lot of people wanted me to explain our strategies behind it. And thus was born our next signature program, the Digital Shop Experience. And one of the things that came out of this was I realized we create a lot of content in our online business, and sometimes we only see one way to use that content. Like if we created content in the mode of a workshop, we don't realize that there's actually other ways that we can repurpose that content to create more products for our shop. So before AI was really a thing, I actually came up with a whole content repurposing strategy that's inside of the digital shop experience. And then I even turned it into a quick win workshop. So even before AI could help me explain to people how they could use their content to work harder for them and create more products out of what they already created, I had come up with a ton of ideas on how to do that. And AI has really just taken that to the next level. So I think where I want to start is I want to explain the different ways I was teaching people to content repurpose before AI came on the scene. So to set the stage for this, I really got people's wheels turning when I used two big examples of ways that we've been socialized to content repurposing without really even realizing it was happening. And the first one comes from my very favorite person in the world, Taylor Swift, of course. She is like the queen of content repurposing. Let's take her original records and how she has turned them into Taylor's version. She takes the exact same songs. And yes, she did this for a bigger reason, which if you're a Taylor fan, you know why we got Taylor's version. However, think about this. I gave this example. My favorite Taylor Swift era is the Red era. And that is because that is the album that saw me through my postpartum PTSD with my first daughter. And it was near and dear to my heart. And in 2021, when she released Red, Taylor's version, I was actually really resistant to it because I'm like, this was so important to me. My best friend convinced me to listen to it, and I fell in love with it, of course. It really got me to think about how, wow, she just sold us the exact same songs. Now, she put enhancements in it, like we got All Too Well, the 10-minute version, right? Which, I digress, my absolute favorite song on the planet. But the reality is, she made millions of dollars taking songs that were already popular and re-recording them. That is content repurposing. The other thing she does really well is when she releases a new album, like when she released the Tortured Poets Department, she does some interesting things. She releases multiple different versions of it on vinyl, and she gives special editions and bonus tracks to convince you to buy the same content over and over again. She's honestly a genius. She's a great marketing case study in this. The other great case study in this, which we've all been exposed to because likely we're all in around the same age group, and we probably remember the days of VHS, right? So let's talk about the Disney Vault. Back in the day, I remember when Disney created urgency for us to buy our favorite Disney movies on VHS by bringing them out for a limited time, and then they would put it back in the vault. So if you did not buy it during that limited time, you could not see your favorite Disney movies. So of course, this really convinced parents to buy it. And guess what? You probably have bought the same movie over and over again. Think about this. I think probably the VHS tape I wore out the most as a kid was The Little Mermaid. So we bought The Little Mermaid on VHS. Then content mediums started changing, and we then bought it on DVD. So now we've paid Disney for it on VHS, DVD. We probably paid them to go see it in the movie theater. So that's 3 times. And guess what? Now we pay Disney Plus every single month to watch all of the same things for our kids that we've already paid for over the decades multiple times. That is the power of content repurposing. Disney takes one thing, and now they're even making live version movies of these legacy movies that we've all come to love. So these are two, honestly, corporate examples, because yes, while Taylor is great at getting us to relate to her, the fact of the matter is she is a corporate machine as well now. And these are things that we've been socialized to sort of just normalized, essentially, for us. So this led me in my business to be like, how can I take the examples of people who are crushing it out there and making so much money off of what they've already done in different mediums? So again, before AI even came on the scene, these were examples I was giving my students to help them get more shop listings up when they were creating their digital product shops. And the very first thing that I told people was, for my legacy bloggers out there, or anyone who's been putting content on the internet for any period of time, you can turn that into paid products. And a good example of this is I had, back in the day, a blog series all about Pinterest advertising. And I had it on my blog because I wanted to lead people to my signature course at the time, which is Pin Practical Promotions. What I did was I ended up aggregating those blog posts and turning it into what I called the Pin Practical Promotions Primer. And I bundled it then with helpful supplements such as an ad tracker, a spreadsheet that helped them keep track of their ads. And I created like interactive worksheets to help them get further along in the ad process. So I essentially took content that I'd already created, bundled it in a different way, added some enhancements, and started selling it as a lead-in. It was basically the bottom of the ascension ladder that led into Pin Practical Promotions. And this primer, which for the majority of it was free on my website, made multiple six figures. The other thing that you can do is bundle and unbundle. So under the Redefining Mom brand, which I've mentioned that we are in the process of relaunching, but it's kind of just been an autopilot for the last 5 years, a big pillar there ended up being budgeting. It was accidental. It was because my very first product was the family budget spreadsheet. And over the years, when I got indexed for budgeting keywords, I kept creating more budgeting products because I followed the money. So we have a family budget spreadsheet. We have a debt tracker, which has like a snowball tracker in there. We have printable cash envelopes. We have a printable money planner that's a PDF fillable. So what we did was we took all of those products and we bundled it into what we call the ultimate family budget system, but they can also buy the products individual if they want. So basically, we took multiple products and made yet another product that we could put into our shop by bundling. The other thing we do is we repurpose live events. We have hosted so many live events in our business. And one of my favorite examples is the Passion to Profit experience, which we hosted in, I believe it was August of 2021. This was a paid challenge. So I got paid to actually produce the content to begin with, and then it led into the Empowered Business Lab. So I got paid to create the launch content, and then I got paid on the back end when people joined the program. But then after that launch, the Passion to Profit experience, which was such a great challenge, like basically it could be a standalone workshop, it just sat in my Google Drive because what was I supposed to do with it? Well, now we turned it into an actual workshop that you can buy in our shop. And guess what? That created an evergreen system for us because if you buy Passion to Profit experience, guess what the call to action is? To upgrade into the Empowered Business Lab. The other thing we do is we put on live workshops. We call them quick win workshops. And afterwards, so we basically have 2 selling periods for this. We have a selling period where we are going to pitch the quick win workshop. And the benefit of that is you can come live and ask us questions. But then we break it down into these bite-sized pieces. We put it into our course site and it basically becomes a workshop/course on its own that we can sell continuously in the shop. And what I love about this is that in the past, this was a lot more work for us because we'd have to create individual sales pages, individual checkouts, and then we'd have to flip everything once it was no longer a live event. Now we just create one shop listing, and the shop listing is super easy to update, and it allows us to sell so much more effectively. The other thing you can do is you can take private podcast feeds and repurpose them and sell them in different mediums. For example, I have a podcast feed called The Monica Memo. Right now, it's exclusive for our Empowered Business Society membership students. I could also take that feed, though, and sell it independently in my shop. So it could be a bonus or a value add to my membership students, but it also could be a one-time feed that you purchase, or it could be a subscription, like a $5 subscription feed that you purchase outside of the membership. Something that is really overlooked by people who have memberships or courses is the fact that we gate a lot of our best content behind paywalls, essentially. I'm going to give an example of a student I have in the digital shop experience who only sold her stuff in a high ticket program. I believe it was a $3,000 program. She was worried if she pulled out pieces of her program and put it in a shop that it would cannibalize her high ticket program. And I made the argument, because I do not believe in that there are people that are not willing to just jump into a high ticket program. They need to understand how you teach and the value that you can provide before they get there. Some people are simply never going to pay the higher prices either. So what we do is we teach people how to take pieces of their program or their membership or their high ticket program and create these profitable shop listings. And basically this content that was only working for them with people who paid them in one medium now can also work for them in another medium where one of 2 things happen. People take the smaller pieces of the program and they're like, this is amazing. Now I want to upgrade into the bigger program. Or they say, hey, I got what I wanted, and they can move on. But the thing is that that's money that you were leaving on the table before. I'll give a few other examples that some of my students really enjoyed learning from me. we created a series of toolboxes in our business. So we took some of our best content that we had created over the years, and we would basically aggregate them into what we call toolboxes. So let's say that we created a lot of stuff around the topic of email marketing or lead generation. Let's say we had swipe copy, we had templates for web pages, we had social media graphics, and we had all this stuff that was kind of floating around in our Google Drive that we had created maybe as free opt-ins over the years or smaller products, or maybe even stuff that, again, lived behind these bigger courses. And we themed them into toolboxes. We ended up creating 13 of these, and we put them originally in a membership model. So we got paid for them in a membership model, but then we repurposed them into our shop and people could buy them standalone. So it was basically an exercise of aggregating content we already had into themes. The other thing is, do you ever catch yourself repeating or answering the same question over and over again? Because I sure do. After a while, you kind of think, wow, I've said this a million times. Obviously, people have a need for this information, but it maybe wasn't enough to lend itself to an entire course or an entire workshop. So I came up with this product idea called quick tip videos, essentially. They're, I believe, anywhere from like $6 to $9 in our shop. And they'd be like these bite-sized videos where someone would ask me, hey, how do I do this thing on lead pages? If I got asked the question enough, I would record a quick tip video. And instead of it just sitting there in the depths of my Loom account, I then download it and turn it into a quick tip video in my shop. I have, I think, 14 of these quick tip videos. I could have a lot more. But think about things like how you get asked questions over and over again, and you're like, this is not like a whole program or product in and of itself. But if you had a shop and a one place for people to go and buy from you, it becomes a lot more practical that you could turn it into a low ticket product and give people the answers they need and meet them where they're at without it being this whole big course that you have to create. So these are things I was doing without the help of AI. And then AI came on the scene, and I have to tell you, it really has enhanced my content repurposing strategies. And this is what I'm going to be talking about in my AI Unleashed for Business Summit presentation. A few months ago, when we were talking about relaunching the Redefining Mom brand, one of the things I've wanted to do for years, but we just really didn't have the bandwidth to do it, was to relaunch our family budget spreadsheet. So I recently ran numbers on this. We have made over $500,000 on this spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet, I created back in 2016 when I did not know what I was doing. If you buy the family budget spreadsheet, it's the original video that I created back in 2016 when I didn't even know how to edit videos. It's an interesting experience to look back on because I've come so far in my digital product creation. And so I wanted to relaunch it for a long time. And now that we're relaunching the Redefining Mom brand, it was time to do it. And Haley and I sat there looking at the family budget spreadsheet. We're like, okay, so how do we enhance this? We were kind of at a loss. So I said, you know what? I'm going to download it into a CSV file and I'm going to upload it into ChatGPT, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT on how we can make enhancements to the spreadsheet. And I also prompted it to say, we've sold it for $17 for years. There's a few things that I knew that we were up against. One of them was I wanted to raise the price on it. I wanted it to be a $27 spreadsheet. So we had to add enough value for that to be the case. And also, I wanted to set it apart from budgeting apps that are out there. Because when I launched the family budget spreadsheet, budgeting apps weren't really a thing. Now they are. So I want to overcome that objection of why our spreadsheet is better than a budgeting app. So I put it into ChatGPT, and the ideas that it came back with, which is what I'm going to be sharing again during my Unleash AI for Business Summit presentation, blew my mind. And so then I thought, okay, so one, we can use AI to help us take our existing products or content that we've created and ask it how to make it better, how to overcome new objections that might be entering into the marketplace. But then I said, now that I'm entering this new era of Redefining Mom, we're still going to have our maternity and postpartum content on there, but we're looking at Redefining Mom more as like a continuum of the mom experience and all these different areas that different moms are in. And now I'm a single mom, right? And I started noticing in our Google Search Console that people were finding the family budget spreadsheet by searching single mom budget template. And I thought, interesting, because I pay my bills very similar to how I did in my marriage, just with one income. And I used the same spreadsheet. And I thought, that's very interesting. I wonder if the family budget spreadsheet could be spun for single moms. what would be different about it? And honestly, I was kind of at a loss because, again, I use the same spreadsheet, even not married. So I'm like, what am I missing? So I asked ChatGPT, I said, hey, I have this adjacent audience. I built Redefining Mom as a working mom audience. That's how it started. And I was a married working mom. And there are a lot of the spin of Redefining Mom was a married working mom. And now I am a single mom who runs a business. How can I create a spreadsheet from the family budget spreadsheet, which is this proven spreadsheet that has sold tens of thousands of copies, and make it for single moms? Again, I'll be sharing this at the Unleash AI for Business Summit presentation that I'm doing. Blew my mind. There are so many different things and tabs that we can give to single moms to help them out. And so then I said to ChatGPT, okay, what other audiences can we spin the family budget spreadsheet for, where it's not the same spreadsheet? I'm not just taking the family budget spreadsheet and repackaging it and slapping on single mom. I'm asking it to how I can make it different for these audiences. I call them adjacent audiences because they're all part of the Redefining Mom brand. And it came back with so many ideas. And I will tell you that I already had a solid grasp on content repurposing before AI, but now I feel like AI is literally a second brain for me that is taking my content to the next level. It's really enhancing all the hard work that I've already done and really helping my content work harder for me and ultimately make me more money. So that's going to be my live session at the Unleash AI for Business Summit. But there are 30 plus other people that are presenting on topics that I am super excited to also learn about. Here's a couple that you can look forward to. One session is all about how to use AI to replicate yourself and never get left behind. This is where they'll be talking about how to automate tasks and scale your efforts without hiring a massive team. Haley and I joke all the time that ChatGPT is like a $20 a month extra employee. It honestly blows our mind how much more efficient we work because we've embraced this. Some other sessions are going to talk about how to create GPTs to become more efficient with customer and client retention. So this will be all about AI-driven customer engagement strategies that boost lifetime value of a customer. I am very excited for this one, how to free up 6+ hours, how to automate your marketing campaigns for effortless lead generation. Because as you know, lead generation, I say all the time, there's no end in sight for that. It's top of mind every day in my business. And during this session, we're going to learn AI-powered automations that save time and, of course, drive revenue. Another session will be how AI turns important business tasks into passive income opportunities. So we'll learn AI-driven revenue streams that run on autopilot. And I know all of this sounds very catchy and very kind of marketing jargony, but you'd be surprised by how many golden nuggets and practical things you learn from these sessions. I've had the ability to watch some of these sessions from previous summits. So I believe this is the 10th or 11th time that Bob Dietrich and Pamela Dunn have run this summit, and they run it live. And I have learned so much about AI from watching these sessions. So I really encourage you to join and sign up. You can head on over to monicafroese.com/unleash to grab your free ticket. I would absolutely love to see you there. And I would love to hear about anything that has come to mind for you in terms of content repurposing. As you sit there and you think, wow, I've created a lot of content over the years. How can I turn this content into more revenue streams? And if something has struck you from this episode, I'd love to hear about it. You can head on over to Instagram and follow me, monica.froese, F-R-O-E-S-E. Send me a DM and let me know. Also, I'm happy to brainstorm with you as well. It's one of my favorite activities to do with my students. All right, the last thing I have for you is I would love if you would follow, and leave a review of the podcast. Since I took a hiatus during the last 2 years and really only published sporadically, I'm really trying to get our presence back into the algorithm, and follows, and reviews help us to do that. I would love it, love it, love it if you would consider doing that. All right, I can't wait to see you back here next week.
That's a wrap on today's episode, but your next step starts right now. If you're serious about selling digital products and want the AI-powered tools, expert strategy, and real human support to make it happen, then you need to check out the Empowered Business Society. Inside, you'll get AI-driven trainings to create and sell digital products faster, a private community for expert feedback and real-time support, exclusive access to the Monica Memo podcast,
And if you go pro, you'll get monthly marketing shortcuts, live Q&As, and 20% off of the Empowered Shop perpetually. Because smart business owners sell smarter, they don't work harder. And the best part, you can get started for as little as $9. The best business growth happens when AI and real humans work together. Ready to make your next move? Join us inside of the Empowered Business Society. You can check us out at empoweredbusiness.co/society. See you in the next episode.